Hello everyone and welcome to Stefan's podcast, the podcast for everything Japanese news and what's going on in my little island here. And we've got some fun news stories for you today, so let's jump straight into them. The first news story, I don't know if you've seen this, if you go to Tokyo, you can rent go-karts and you can drive around the Tokyo streets. I think it's a little bit crazy. I've always thought it's a little bit dangerous. And today there was actually a crash between someone on one of the go-karts and a taxi. There was meant to be a stop sign, or there was a stop sign there, and the go-kart either just didn't see it or missed it, and they went straight through the stop sign and hit a taxi. Luckily, looking at the photos, no one was hurt and the damage is pretty minimal. But this does bring some attention to the go-karts, which for me, I've always seen them as kind of a little bit dangerous to have them on the road with proper cars. You're in a vehicle which is tiny, very, very small, and you're next to taxis, giant lorries. For me, I haven't done it since I've been in Japan. I've heard some people who have done it. They've said it's been a great time, but personally, not a fan of this. And this has, of course, raised some concern about how safe these things are. Should they be on the streets in Tokyo? Maybe you've done them. Maybe you've had a great time. And if you have, fantastic news. But for me, not a fan of them, not a fan whatsoever. But something I am a fan of is Mrs. Green Apple. My favourite band in Japan, their song Dance Hall I listen to all the time. It's a brilliant, brilliant track. But this week they have done something unbelievably, I don't think it was intentional. I think if you read all of the stuff floating around this, they did something a little bit stupid. They didn't understand the historical context and they had to take down one of their music videos. So when I first read this news story, I just read the headlines and it was Mrs. Green Apple takes down music video after big controversy. And 9 out of 10 times when these stories comes up, it's something minor, it's not too bad, and the companies that release them apologize very quickly and bring it all down. But this is the first time that I went, oh, they did, oh, Jesus, oh, no. So to read you what they did, it was just beyond stupid. So the song is called Columbus. By the way, I've listened to the song. I like the song. You should definitely go on YouTube, give it a listen, because it's a good Mrs. Green Apple song. But in the music video, the group dress up as, of course, Christopher Columbus, and they go to a unknown island. I didn't say America, it's just an island. And then they go and teach monkeys, yeah, this is where it starts to go wrong. They teach monkeys how to do various different things. They operate tuk-tuks. They do all sort of things, and they just teach these monkeys, and the monkeys are in the music video. And I was just going, "Oh, you didn't? No! This is stupid. This is racist. Oh, Jesus! Stop!" And they took the music video down straight away. This is probably the first time that I've seen one of these news stories and just go, "They did what? Did no one did they not have any foreign people there just to be like, whoa, stop, no, this is gonna go down badly, stop. So that was a mistake. The music video has come down. You can still find the song on YouTube, which is nice. They've just got I think it's the album cover on the music video. Hopefully they sort of reshoot another music video because I actually really like the song. The song was a good Mrs. Green Apple song, and apart from that, it's not the end of the world. This is one of the news stories that I go, stupid mistake, take it down, move on straight away. But something that you shouldn't move on from, and when I read it, I went, really, Japan? This is it? A couple of videos I said ago that Japan do not do enough to protect children from creeps, sexual predators, whatever you want to call it. And in the news this week, there was a Singaporean delegate who his time as a delegate has now finished. His contract is over. But when he was a serving delegate for Singapore, he would be going into bathhouses and taking pictures of people naked with his smartphone. And one of the person that he took a picture of was a naked schoolboy. This is a junior high school boy. And I'm not going to say well done to the man for doing this, but he flew home to Singapore and actually came back to face prosecution for this. And I bet you're wondering, how much was he fined? How long is he going to prison for? Because he admits that he's done this, and he said that he's done this in a total of, I think it was 27 or 30 places. I can't see how many places he's done this in the news story here, but he has done this a lot. He has been to multiple bathhouses and taken pictures of. Apparently, almost he had a lot of pictures. I'm trying to see how many pictures. This news story, I was reading it on another news story, but another news story was saying that he had, hundreds, if not tens of dozens of pictures of different naked people in his phone when the police found him. So they found him. He said he deleted the photos immediately as soon as the police told him. He held his hands up and went, "Yep, I've been doing this and I should be punished for it." And how long do you think he's spending in prison? A year? 2 years? 3 years? 4 months? No prison time. Oh, no prison time. Okay, he's a Singaporean delegate. He's got to have a lot of money for this. How much do you think the fine was that he paid? 300,000 yen. For most people, I'm not sure what the average salary in Japan is, but this is probably roughly about the average salary, maybe considered a little bit low salary for 1 month. So you're talking 2-3 grand in US in pounds, or about $2,000. This is ludicrous. This guy is taking pictures of junior high school kids, and he's got a 300,000 yen fine, and now he's probably going to go back to Singapore and do whatever. This is disgusting, Japan. This should be way higher. You should be doing prison time for this. I don't understand the criminal system in Japan whatsoever. Sometimes they prosecute things like over the top, and then you get sexual things, and they just seem to be like, "Oh, you silly goose, slap on the wrist. You're taking pictures of junior high school boys. Oh, don't you do that again. Naughty. Disgusting." Odd news story. Couldn't believe the fines. Still can't believe the fines. I'm totally shocked by it. It's just madness. And speaking of madness, what news story do next? We've got gender discrimination here. So the news story. It's funny the different newspapers on how they reported it. So one newspaper was Japan is 118th in the world for gender equality, which is very low considering there's 197 countries, give or take, depending how you count them. So Japan is in the bottom half of gender equality. Very bad. But the news story that wrote this one, they put a positive spin on it. They said, Japan moves up to 118 in the world for gender equality. And I was going, oh, well, at least Japan's moved up. That's good. They're still pretty terrible, but they're moving up. So apparently on here, this is 118th out of 146 countries. So that puts you in the bottom third of this. Last year they rated 125 out of this thing, so still pretty bad. They do not. It is tough being a woman in Japan. I'm not going to lie. I have known people here that have had sexual harassment is a big thing. They've had a lot of creepy stuff happen to them, even in their houses. There's a lot of this that goes around. There's people trying to touch you on trains. That happens a lot. There is in your house, if you leave sort of underwear outside hanging to dry, that will be taken very often by creepy perverts. And there's just a lot of stuff. It is not easy being a woman here in Japan. I'm not going to lie. There are many things that I think I'm very lucky being a man here in Japan. A lot of problems. Don't like it. Needs to change. Needs to get better. But I guess you could say, well, they're getting better. 118th. Getting slowly better. They should be moving a lot higher in this. This is a G7 country. They should be at least in the top 20th, top 30th. If you're wondering, by the way, where the UK is in this, they are in the top 20. I think they were something like 14th, 15th. I will say, whoever wrote this, it's a giant paper on gender studies. Really difficult to read. I was going, who wrote this? And I was thinking, not easy to read. Not easy to read. Maybe the women who are reading it are smarter than me, but the way it was displayed, I was going, my brain, too much information. I just need the pie chart or the chart. Give me easy. I need easy stuff. Okay, moving on to the next story for you. Oh, secondhand store. This is a cool one. If you've been around Japan, if you've been to Japan, they have a lot of secondhand clothes stores and the quality is very, very good. I will say, this has bugged me about the secondhand stores. The secondhand stores very oftentimes are not cheaper than the normal stores. You can go to some stuff and it's like, this is secondhand, this is really expensive. But some people would argue, oh, the quality is like just like buying new. But for me, I'm like, no. If I'm going to buy, you know, if I'm going to buy clothes, I want them to be new. I have bought a couple of secondhand stuff here, but normally it is a little bit cheaper and still in very good quality. But Uniqlo in Fukuoka is setting up the first corner of used clothing. So they're going to sell their own stuff, but used. And in most cases, it's going to be cheaper, but in some cases, they are actually going to re-dye this, or if the product has probably like never been worn, once or twice been worn, it's going to be the same price as what it would be new. And I was like, well, why would you buy the secondhand stuff? Why wouldn't you go buy the new one? This baffles me. If you're going to sell secondhand clothes, should be cheaper and should be, at least a little bit cheaper, significantly cheaper, especially as I don't know, they don't have in the article here what the sort of buying program is, if you just donate the clothes or if they buy it back for you. But I imagine this is like a double profit for them. They're probably going to make more money off the secondhand clothes than they are the new clothes in theory. So, don't like it. I don't like it when stores do these things and it doesn't help anyone apart from the stores themselves. And then they claim it's for the environment. It's like, no, you guys are making more money off this. You wouldn't do this if it was just for the environment. You must think I'm a silly goose. Okay, next one. Oh, this was interesting here for all you people on permanent residency. There's a lot of people who live in Japan who are on a permanent resident visa. And Japan are now looking at a bill that looking at introducing a bill that would make it easier to kick someone out of Japan who is on a permanent visa. And I don't think that they should do this. So at the moment, the bill was looking into that if you fail to pay taxes or social security premiums or commit crimes in Japan, they can kick you out of Japan. Now, my understanding of a permanent residency here is that you should have basically the same rights as a normal person in Japan, and you are basically treated as the same person as a Japanese person. The only difference is you don't have a Japanese passport, and that's it. But they are trying to whittle this down and make it very easier to kick people out. A lot of people in Tokyo are protesting this. A lot of people who are from South Korea and China originally, they were protesting this. If I was in Japan, if I was in Tokyo, I would agree with this. This is wrong. They shouldn't be trying to kick people out, especially if you're a permanent resident here. That means you've been in Japan for a pretty long time. I think permanent residency here is not easy to get. And you would have been on a visa before. So you would have either been on a student visa, you'd have been on like my visa now, or you would have been on another working visa. So you've probably been in Japan before getting this, 5+ years? 10+ years? A lot of years. You should be, in that time you've paid your dues, you should be treated the same. They shouldn't just kick you out if you accidentally make a mistake, which people do on occasions. Japanese people certainly make enough crimes. All you have to do is go to the newspaper and read the crime section and you go, whoa, that was bad. Yeah, I don't like this. I don't like this news story. It affects me. I'm sure Japanese residents will be thinking, well, if you're bad, you should be kicked out. But at this point, we've paid enough into the system to not be kicked out of Japan, I think. That's what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments. So, moving on to the next story. Oh yes, we have Tokyo. Tokyo alone. So this is a big news story that's been floating around in Japan, is Japan's population problem is getting pretty much out of hand. This has been on the cards for a long, long time. But Tokyo now finds itself with a under one fertility rate. So what that means is that people in Japan will generally have, to maintain population, you need to have something like 2.1, because Not everyone will have children for whatever reason, but in Tokyo, it's under 1. That is under half. That is very, very bad for the Tokyo population, and especially as Tokyo has what? A huge population of Japan is just in Tokyo. So they desperately need to move this up if the population here is going to stay the same. Now, what are the reasons for Tokyo having a low birth rate? Well, number one is they work way too much, the Japanese people. You look at their statistics, they are very, very hardworking, and they work all over the place, into the evening, early in the morning. And it's sad, but if you want to be dating with someone, then guess what? You need to be out dating. You can't be working all the time. Also, a lot of the times is, even if people are married, they're not at home with their wives. And guess what? I'm pretty sure you need to be at home with your wife to make a baby, or no babies get made unless the postman comes around. Well, then the postman, he helps a lot. So how do Japan fix this? How do they increase their birth rate? Well, if it was me, things that I would be doing, I'd be looking at, okay, how do we reduce the working hours in Japan? How do we get that down to the average, which is like 40, 45, somewhere around there? How do we get them to start mixing with each other more? And what can we do to encourage people to have more children? You know, you then look at incentives for married couples, you look at incentives for births, you look at incentives for pretty much everything. They do have some incentives if you have children, that they give you some money, but from what I have looked into, the money that they give you basically just sort of covers the cost of having a baby, because obviously here in Japan there is no national health care. They have to pay for the doctors, and what you normally have is you have sort of insurance through your employer. That's what I have. I have sort of an insurance through my employer, and that pays for something like 90% of anything that I need to go, and then I have to pay out of pocket for another 10%, which is pretty much all of it. And this, you know, this 10% can add up and up and up and up and up and up, so it can get expensive. But they cover basically the cost of having the baby, and then sort of after that, you're kind of on your own. I know there are some cash, some more incentives depending which prefecture you are, but it isn't enough to, you know, it's not going to cover the cost of a child, certainly not. So maybe increase doing that. Just there's a lot of reasons why Japan don't have children, and those are one of them. For me, the biggest one is the overworking culture, because if you're working too hard, can't have babies, don't have time, doesn't happen. That would be my first fix. How would you fix it? Let me know. Let me know. How are we going to fix Japan's birth rate? Poke holes in all the condoms? You know, that would be an easy one. Bang, bang, loads of babies then. Bish, bang, bosh. Easy, easy fix. But that's not good for everyone. No, I'm joking. Okay, so moving on for you. And I think actually that is the end of our news story. Oh no, I got one more news story for you coming up here. This is a cool one. If you're in Kyoto this week, there is a beautiful temple which is now having a blossoming, which only happens once a year. And these beautiful white trees, or flowers I should say, these beautiful white flowers that blossom, they only blossom for one day a year, and they fall off the tree straight away. If you thought the cherry blossoms were bad, these ones are even worse. So this is in Kyoto's Myoshiji Temple in Yukio Ward. For the next 2 weeks, these flowers are going to be blossoming there and then falling off straight away. So if you want to go and see something very beautiful, you know, once in a lifetime thing, head over to there, because it is a very, very fun thing. And that is it for the end of the news. I'm actually looking at doing a few more Chinese myths, because most of my podcast myths, they are all Japanese. So for the first time, I'm going to do a Chinese myth. So to end today's podcast, here is a fun Chinese myth for you. We have the story of A-O, which is literally just A and O in Chinese. It's an ancient giant tortoise that supposedly supports the mountains and continents. This creature was around, apparently in Chinese mythology, when the world was created, and it was in the East China Sea and lived around there. It was so large that it could have islands on the back of its shoulders. And one day there was a disaster in heaven in China. So heaven is falling apart. One of the gods dived down to earth, found this turtle, cut off its legs, and decided to use those as supports to keep heaven floating. Now, in the stories after this, it is said two things happened. Depends, various myths. The turtle died, or the turtle survived and is still holding up islands on its back. And the islands, which I'm going to absolutely butcher, these islands also have magical mountains on the back as well. These are Pangal, Fangashing, and Yingji Zhou. I've absolutely butchered that. Apologies. I'll put the subtitles up there so you can actually read it. And that is pretty much it for the story of that. If you ever see one of these big giant turtles, I'd love to know. In a lot of mythologies, they have these giant turtles. In Japanese mythology, they have a giant turtle. It's sort of got a similar story where it will have an island on its back, and when it's moving around, the island will move. In a lot of animes, you'll see giant turtles. I know Yu-Gi-Oh had a Yu-Gi-Oh card with one of these big turtles on. And in lots of cultures, they have these huge turtles that have islands on the back. There's actually a similar one in Japanese mythology, which is the Akare, which is red stingray. These are giant stingrays that can grow to huge size, and they will also have islands on their backs. And if they start thrashing around, they can actually cause tsunamis. So very, very interesting Japanese myth there. But that's it for everything going on here. Let's give you what's going on with me this week. So this week I've been trying to lose some weight. I've been training a lot, and I am down from my original weight in, I think it was August. In August I was about 82, 83 kgs, and as of this morning I woke up at 76.9 kgs. So I've been losing some weight, but it has not been easy. I have been training every day pretty much. What I've been doing to lose the weight is in the morning I go for a run, and that can vary quite a lot, that run. It will either be, lowest will be 2 kilometers. On average, I aim for, my goal originally was to do 5 kilometers every morning, but sometimes I wake up a little bit late and I don't have time to do the 5 kilometers. I'd say I average about 4 kilometers, and when I have time, I will push it up to 6 to 10 kilometers. So that's been good. And then I'll go to work and then hit the gym after that and just do weights, no cardio. The good thing about me doing that system is, if you're trying to lose weight, is having 2 separate times when you work out. Is, let's say for whatever reason I wake up late and I don't do my run, then I go, oh, I missed my run, this is really bad. I definitely don't miss the gym. And then the next day I maybe go for a run, and let's say I get busy after work, I can't go to the gym. Oh man, I missed the gym. So by having 2 separate times of working out, I never actually miss a day where I don't do any exercise whatsoever. This has been great for me, because whenever I work out, there's always, I say, okay, today I'm going to work out at 6 p.m. or in the morning I'm going to go for a run. I then miss it and then don't do any exercise that day. But this way, it's very, very rare I don't do any exercise. So that has helped. My diet, I have changed quite a lot. So for the last maybe year, 2 years, I haven't been having breakfast every morning. So I've been doing that sort of intermediate fast, but it's my version. It's not particularly strict to it. So I don't eat breakfast in the morning, and I actually stopped at work eating the kushokus, and now I just bring in a salad. And actually, I'll be totally honest, that is where I think I've lost a lot more of the weight, is not eating the kushoku, because in that, the carb ratio is very, very high. Now I eat very, very little carbs throughout the day. I will have a salad for lunch, so it will be 9 out of 10 times it will be spiced meat. So I'll have like chicken paprika, chicken masala, a lot of Indian spices on that, just the raw chicken, and then put the spices in, and then just a basic salad. You know, anyone can make a salad. And then in the evening, I will have pretty much, I wouldn't say what I want, but I'm a lot less strict in the evening, because, you know, I've burnt through a lot of calories. So I'll do that. Oh, after the gym, I'll have a protein shake, and then I'll have my dinner. So that is what I've been doing pretty much to lose the weight so far. Along with that, when I'm at work, I might also do some sports with the kids. That has helped lose some weight probably as well. But the big thing for me has just been reducing the calories, especially just the carbs when I don't need them. They don't provide too much energy for me. Apparently, not eating carbs is better for you as well, but who knows? You go on the internet and there is a million different theories on what you should do to lose weight. Do this diet, do that diet, do this, do that, do that. But the things that have worked best for me are having the double workouts in the day, because I never miss a workout. So I'm always exercising in the day. If I miss one, if I don't do the run in the morning, I've still done the weights. So that's great. By eating better, it's helped it. Not eating breakfast, to be honest, the not eating breakfast for me was more out of a time concern, because in the morning I wake up pretty late. I'm pretty much like, I need to leave for work 10-15 minutes before I actually have to go to work. So that was more out of a time necessity. The no kushoku, that has been great. I just decided maybe a year ago, 6 months ago, you go out with your friends, you drink this stuff, you eat different things, and I just kind of went, you know what? I'm not going to eat anything anymore unless I actually enjoy it and I want to eat it. I'm not just going to eat stuff because I'm out with different people. If people are like, yeah, we're going to get a pizza, if I don't want a pizza, I'm going to be like, no, I'm not going to eat this, and I'll go and eat something else because it's better for me. And in the long run, it's going to be good. When I'm an old man, hopefully still healthy, this old ticker will still be beating, and who knows, it might be doing good. But I've lost weight before, I've gained weight before, I've fallen off the wagon all the time. But as of right now, I am down. So I started at like 82.5. We're now at 69.7. So we are down about 5.5 kilos. So pretty good, pretty good. The goal is to get down to 70 kilos. That's where I think, you look at the BMI, that's where my BMI says it's a good weight. And I have been lower at that when I was at university and doing sports all the time. I was at a whopping, I think 60 kilos was my lowest. But that was not a particularly healthy thing. As to quote Theo Vaughn, I was just ribs and dick, and that was it. I was very skinny, pretty muscly though, but I was doing a lot of sports all the time, and my diet, definitely not the best. So we're going to see if we can get to 70, very healthy, and then just continue everything for maintenance. That's the thing that you have to do when you lose weight, is the problem is you lose all the weight and you go, yay, I've lost all the weight. I can stop training now. And it's like, no, you now need to keep training to maintain the weight loss. Otherwise it creeps back up, and 20 kilos has creeped back up over the last 10, 15 years. Over the last 10, yeah, now over 10 years. So it will get you. During that time, I have gone back down, back up. Everyone does it. They yo-yo with the diets. But this time, I think I found a system that works. It's working for here. This is another thing that I found when moving to Japan, is when you're in the UK and then moving to Japan, your diet is different, the time you eat is different, everything is different. So what worked for you losing weight in the UK doesn't work here. For example, here in Toshima, the gym that I go to is very, very small. So I don't have all of the cardio stuff that I had when I lost the weight in the UK. So when I originally lost the weight in the UK, the 20 kilos, because I started when I was at university, about the same weight now, probably about, I might have even been higher, I might have been like 90-ish kilos. I went from probably 90 kilos to 60 kilos, but I lost it by doing an hour of cardio every day in the gym, and I would do 10 to 20 minutes of rowing, 10 to 20 minutes of running, 10 to 20 minutes of cycling, and there was different bikes. So you'd have like the sit-up bike that you go cycling on, and then you'd have one that would have more for like a chair seat that you could cycle on, and then also the CrossFit thing. So I would go in, do that for sort of an hour. I'd swap and change machines every 10, 15 minutes, running, then rowing, then cycling, then doing that, and then I would do some weights. The weights I wasn't hitting properly, and then my diet definitely wasn't good. I'd be eating, pizza, all this stuff, but I was just burning so many calories. Along with these gym workouts, I would also be in like different sports clubs. So I would be in, let's say, the lacrosse club, I also would do tennis, badminton. I joined like a racket once, so there's a racket club, so it'd be like tennis, badminton, squash, and all that, and I'd be doing all of those stuff different day. And I tell you what, you just burn the calories and it will go. I would also be, during that time, my diet was not good. I'd be eating like soup a lot to try and lose the weight, and then I would go, university student, go out, drink a load of beer, and then just go lose some weight and not be eating properly. So don't recommend that diet. That was terrible. What I'm doing now, much more healthier. And yeah, that's it. That's how I've lost 5.5 kilos in Japan. The main things are, if you're going to lose it, 2 workouts so you don't miss a workout, no breakfast because intermediate fasting, and more for me, I don't have time. The next one was just be careful what you eat, and that's pretty much it, how I've lost 5 kilos. That's it. We hope to lose more. Goal is 70. I will update you over the next couple of days on how it's going, and I will see you in the next couple of days. Oh, announcement. I'm going to try and aim to do this podcast 2 times a week where you have nice long videos, and the goal for that, I think, it's either going to be a video on Saturday. I think there's going to be a video on Saturday. Every Saturday I'm going to put up a podcast. Saturday or Friday. So I'm going to be Saturday or Friday and Monday or Tuesday. So those are the days for the podcast. I haven't quite nailed them down in my head yet. Once I do, I'll let you know. But for now, it's going to be Monday, Tuesday, or Friday, Saturday. So there you go. Thank you very much for watching. Have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. And I will see you tomorrow for a short. See you in the next videos. Goodbye.